Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Welcome to Azure training. So, how many are new to cloud? How many are having experience in cloud? Just before like discussing, they just want to know the pace. You can reply in chat window or yeah,
I am new to cloud.
okay, okay. So every mostly right. Everyone is new to cloud. Yeah, little knowledge. So first we'll start with some discussion. Okay. So what it makes, like what is cloud? Before going to cloud, how is the current infrastructure? Like before cloud, how the things used to happen? Okay. So if you are working already working on some existing project, right, how the architecture would be, you will be having some data center, okay, in your office premises. Let us assume you are working for some ABC company. Okay, so it will be having like servers, it will be having application servers, it will be having database servers, and it will be having some desktops. So complete infrastructure will be present in the company itself, in one of the location. Either it can be in India or it can be in US, or geographically it would be distributed. So if your ABC company is in India and US, no, so you will be having the data centers in India and US. So all your client applications are like they will be deployed here itself. Okay, in the same way, so this is, let us assume like this is India and this is US. Okay, here you will be having some application servers, DB servers. Okay, and you will be having some storage. Okay, now whenever you migrate to cloud, what is going to change? Okay, everything concept will be same, but how we create, okay, how we maintain will change. Currently in this, if your company is having this infrastructure, right, you need some people for maintaining the application servers, you need some people for maintaining the DB storage, right? They, if there is any upgrades they have to do, if there is any OS upgrades, or if there is any RAM upgrade or CPU upgrade, or if they want to add additional hardware, right, that will be done by the ABC company team. Okay, same way whenever we move to cloud, what is going to happen? No, the same thing. Let us assume there is some transition from this ABC company. This is called as basically on premises. Okay, this is basically on premises. On premises means it is in your physical location. If you go to cloud, if you are taking your project to cloud, what is going to happen? Okay, the existing projects, there will be some already some applications that will be deployed and everything will be there. Whenever we move to cloud, okay, the same ABC company, okay, in cloud also you will be having something like regions, because here I am keeping my servers in India and US. In the same way, cloud also will have infrastructure globally. It will be having something like regions. Here in your location you are creating cloud is a, like if you if you take the cloud provider is something like who sells the cloud solution. It may be AWS, or it may be Azure, or it can be Google Cloud, or it may be Oracle. So whenever, as it is a product they are selling to everyone, right, what they will do, you know, they will create this infrastructure globally in all the countries mostly. Okay, so what we will do, we will have something called region. I will put something like India. Okay, I will put US. Here I will be installing. Here you will have some data centers. Okay, these data centers will be maintained by cloud provider. In our case, it is Azure. Okay, this cloud provider will be the Azure, and they will be taking care of hardware, OS upgrades, backups. So previously our team, like if you are in some team, ABC company team, our team used to do all these activity. But whenever you migrate the solution no to cloud, these activities like hardware, OS upgrade, backups, maintaining will be maintained, it will be taken care by the Azure team. Okay, so and it is on demand available. Like if I want to spin 1,000 servers, no, here I can't spin because I need to get some physical hardware for that. In cloud, it will be already available. If I want 1,000 machines also, in one shot I can create. Okay, so this is the basic difference. Basically, this hardware, OS upgrades, backups, maintaining will be done by the cloud provider team, whereas your application developer, if you are a developer, okay, your role will start just to create the VM and use it. If you are admin, maintain the application or servers. Okay, if you are a tester, you should know, like if you are testing, if you are a tester now, you should know like the concepts, right? How the cloud behaves, how to test and all those. Okay, so basically whatever you are doing in on premises, whenever you migrate that to cloud, no, the same physical infra, same everything will be same, but only thing is like the infrastructure will be maintained by someone. Okay, but how they are maintaining? So there is a concept called as virtualization. So virtualization is a concept where you can create, like if you are having one big server. Okay, I will tell one more example. Here I am having one server. Here in my application servers, this is some development environment. In that I am having some 16 GB or like 20 GB RAM and 8 vCPU or 10 vCPU. Okay, I'm having a machine with 20 GB RAM and 10 vCPU. Like that, I'm having different environments. I'm having some 10 environments. Means I have to buy physical servers, right? I have to buy some 10 physical servers with this configuration. And if it is a like testing environment, or if it is a dev environment, or apart from production environment, like you won't use much hardware resources. If I have this environment, no, the CPU will be only 5% used. Okay, there won't be much load on this and the hardware remains unused. Instead of procuring 20 machines, like 10 machines like this, what they will do, right? They will get a good machine, big server they will get, and it will be having something like 500 GB RAM. Okay, and it will be having some 200 vCPU, and they will put a software, thin layer software they will have. Okay, they will be having some software called as hypervisor. On top of hypervisor, they will be installing the multiple applications. This is server 1, this is server 2, this is server 3. Okay, this hypervisor is the software which will enable the virtualization. Virtualizations means using the technology, instead of spinning one OS on one hardware, it will enable to spill multiple OS, okay, on the same hardware. It will slice the, you can slice the configuration, okay. So it is my VM1, okay. This is having this, I can put something like 10 vCPU I can put, and I can add something like 20 GB RAM. Here I can put something like, this is a prod server, I can put 20 vCPU, 40 GB RAM, okay. The use of this is the hardware whatever I got, no, that 500 GB RAM, like 200 vCPU, this will be utilized efficiently. So all the time, if it is basically sharing the resources, okay. This 500 GB RAM and 200 CPU, right? These can be splitted across, shared across multiple virtual machines, so that the company will optimize the cost, storage cost, or the physical hardware cost. The same technology will be used in the cloud, so they will procure, or they will get big machines of like 1000 GB RAM and like a 500 CPU or something, and they will be having these data centers in the cloud, okay, in the physical data centers. And whenever you request some 1 GB, 5 GB RAM, and some 2 vCPU, no, what they will do, right? They will give that configuration, required configuration from that big server. So basically virtualization is that, virtualization is the creation of the virtual service infrastructures, okay. So there will be one software, basically the software is called as the hypervisor, okay, which creates the virtual machines. Basically if you have the hypervisor, then you can create multiple operating system. There are like multiple hypervisors that are available in the market, like Zen, KVM, okay, and Hyper-V, okay. Like Azure uses the like advanced, like improved version of the Hyper-V, which is called as Azure Hypervisor, whereas AWS uses Zen. So each cloud provider will have their own hypervisor, and there will be something like KVM. So yeah, there will be different types of hypervisors basically. So type 1 and type 2. In type 1, you will be having hardware, okay. On that you will be installing the hypervisor, and you will be having the guest operating system. On guest operating system, you will be installing your application. Means in application VM1, I am having like 2 applications, okay, where there is something called as type 2 hypervisor. In type 2 hypervisor, what will happen, right? On hardware you will install OS, okay. Example for this would be like, there will be something like VirtualBox, no, VirtualBox, VMware Workstation, you will be installing, right? First what you will do, you will have the hardware, your laptop. On that you will be having Windows operating system. On Windows operating system, you will be installing your VirtualBox or VMware, okay. That is acts as the hypervisor. And on that hypervisor, you will be installing the operating system like Linux or Windows. The only disadvantage with type 2 is, here you will be having the host OS, means your Windows operating system tied to your hardware. But here, no, your hypervisor will be tied to your hardware, such that all the hardware resources will be utilized efficiently. So this one will be used in the cloud. But this one, the disadvantage is, if operating system has some resource limitation, no, then the Hyper-V can't use the complete hardware, and that is one. And second thing is, like, if my operating system crashes, okay, then all the applications will be impacted. That is the one more disadvantage. But all the cloud providers will go for the type 1, okay. So do you want me to explain this cloud computing basics, or we'll go to, do you know this, what is infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service, network as a service, content as a service?
Yeah, you can proceed.
Yeah. So what is basically cloud computing? Okay, I will tell first what is cloud computing. So cloud computing is something like, we will be using the computer resources built by someone. Okay, someone in the sense here the cloud provider. If it is Azure, then it is built by Microsoft. Okay, if it is AWS, it is built by Amazon. So they will be maintaining your infrastructure. What you will do, right? You will use the resources, okay, using some web-based tool or SDK, okay, or it can be something like CLI. Using these, you will be using the cloud, but those are built by someone. You want to maintain it. If you take the definition of cloud computing, is the on-demand availability of computer system resources, data storage, computing power without the direct active management by the user. So without manage, the thing is like the user won't be involved in the managing the infrastructure, just he will use it. For that he will pay whatever he use, right? He will pay. And there are different service models in cloud, like infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service, network as a service, and container as a service. So like you may get one question, like there are like multiple cloud providers like AWS and Azure. Okay, which should I learn? Because all the cloud providers will provide the solution. They will provide infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service. Okay, but there is something like AWS is good for this one. Okay, infrastructure as a service, AWS is the leader, and platform as a service, Azure is the leader. Okay, even though both will support infrastructure as well as the platform service. Okay, now people are migrating to AWS to Azure, even for the infrastructure as a service. Okay, so we'll understand what is the difference between the like these terminologies. So as I mentioned, if it is an on-premises, in my diagram I have mentioned, like if you are having some company abc.com, here you have to do everything like applications, DB, storage, and your networking. You have to take care. There won't be anyone. Okay, your admins will take care of spinning and maintaining, spinning the VMs and maintaining the VMs. But here, if you see application, data, runtimes in that sense, like if you want something like a Java environment, or if they want something like operating system, if your company is having some VMwares hosted, so those VMwares and server, storage, networking, everything will be maintained by you, your company. Okay, everything will be maintained by you. Whenever you move to infrastructure as a service, like let us assume I'm having some website for HR portal, so I will be deploying that in my application. Okay, I'm a product based company. Okay, so what I will do, right, uh, I will be having everything in my on premises. Okay, now if you go to infrastructure as a service, networking, storage, server, and virtualization means the physical infrastructure will be provided by the cloud provider. Okay, your work will start from operating system. Just you have to choose your operating system. After that, right, if there is any middleware you have to install, or if you want, you can install your runtime environment like Java. If you want some databases or something, no, that needs to be like installed by you or managed by you. And if you are any installing any application, that would be managed by you. So the underlined infrastructure, right, that will be maintained by the cloud provider. Okay, this infrastructure like virtualization, service, storage, and networking will be maintained by the cloud provider only. Okay, your work will start, just you choose your operating system, you install your application. Okay, and means operating system, if it is a Java, you install your runtime, and on top of it, right, if there is any Tomcat or JBoss or whatever, if something is needed, you will be installing and you will be deploying your code. When you go to platform as a service, basically they will give the runtime to you. So the cloud provider, okay, will his role will be involved from right from networking to runtime, means he will take care of the OS also. So you will just deploy your application. Means the difference between here and here, no, infrastructure and platform as a service, the difference is here my work would start from installing like operating system I will be choosing, and after that, right, I will be installing my Java. So here, let us assume I'm installing Red Hat Linux. Okay, on top of it, I have to install some Java 1.8 and I will be installing the Tomcat. When I go to platform as a service, what will happen, right? You will be having a drop down, which runtime you want. I will be mentioning like Java 1.8. That's it. And what is the operating, whether if it is a Java, right, it can be installed on Windows as well as Linux. No, I will be selecting the drop down like Windows or Linux. If I want Linux, I will just click Linux, then I can deploy my code in my platform as a service. Whereas in a software as a service, right, what will happen? No, everything will be maintained by the vendor. Okay, everything will be maintained by the vendor. So here what happens, no, like if you see like Google Cloud, okay, or MS Office, or like Google Docs, Gmail, so just you will use the service, you won't deploy anything. That is one example. Okay, and the second example would be, as I mentioned, I am having a HR portal. Here I'm a product based company, I sell the software for multiple IT recruiting companies. If I am a product based company, what I will do, if one of the client like TC or not, yeah, TCS has bought my software, what I will do, I will go to that company and I will install my software. Okay, I will install my software in their company and I will come. Whereas in infrastructure as a service, if I want to sell the software to the same company, what I will do, I will just give him the I will tell him like you have to use like Linux operating system and you have to use Java runtime environment and you have to use the application server. I will give these instructions and I will give him the code or the jar, whatever. If I go to platform as a service, what I will do, I will tell him like you can deploy your application in the cloud. In that, you select something like when it runs on Linux operating system, okay, and it should have Java 1.8 and Tomcat as application server. Just to deploy that jar. If it is a software as a service, what I will do now, I will only, can you go on mute? Can you go on mute, please? Can you go on mute? So if it is a software as a service, now what I will do, right? I will only create the VM for him. I will, can you go on? Yeah. If it is a software as a company, if it is a software as a service, if I'm selling that product, in cloud, Azure or AWS, what I will do, right? I will create a VM, okay, and I will be charging him like for, if you use my software for 1 hour, you will be charged some like $50 or something. If you are using my software for 1 month, you have to pay some 200. So that is the software as a service model. In software as a service model, now I can give them the software and they will be paying us in my, if I use for 1 hour or 1 month, like that they will be billed. So if I put it in a pictorial view, infrastructure as a service means you will be having the cloud provider will take care of physical data center, networking and servers. He will be maintaining everything. Okay, if it is an infrastructure as a service, you will be maintaining the data center, networking, firewall, security and servers and storage. Okay, if you go to platform as a service, he will be taking care of two other things. One is operating system and the runtime environment or the development SDK. Okay, so he will be taking care of additional two. If it is a software as a service, he will take care of everything. Okay, he will take care right from uh, like uh, this data center, as well as networking, storage, operating system, development tools. Because I am putting my jars in my application itself, so everything will be maintained by the cloud provider only. Any doubts still now?
No.
Okay,
Yes, I have one doubt.
Yeah.
Suppose like in case of SaaS, software as a service, so I have an application of JAR, then how they will contact me to get that particular
Uh-huh.
application?
No, actually what you will do, right, in a software as a service, what you will do, no, you will only create your VM. Okay, I will show you one second. If it is an infrastructure as a service, no, so basically you will choose your operating system. Your work will start from your operating system, means choosing your operating system. Okay, next. Okay, and if you see here images, if I want a Zira, you see you have some servers called like GitLab server. Okay, you are having Jenkins server, means what they are doing actually, the Jenkins, they are, if you see, per hour you are charged something like $0.03. Okay, their plan starts from here, and what they are doing basically, they are pre-configuring in the VM itself. While providing the VM itself, they are pre-configuring the server, means they will be, you no need to do anything. They will only install the software and they will give you. This is called as software as a service.
Okay.
Got it? If you go to DevOps, you don't need to install anything. In a software as a service, what will happen, right? They will only install and they will give you, they will be giving you some username and they will ask you to create some username and password. If I select this one, so they are asking you to create one username and password. With this username and password, you will use the Jenkins. You no need to explicitly create the Jenkins server. It is pre-installed. That is the software as a service. Got it? You got the difference, no?
Yes, yes.
Means they will install, you no need to, like, if it is Jenkins, it is a simple. If it is a Arkill server, or if it is something else, no, which has some complex installation, you no need to do it. They will only install and they will put it as a VM and they will put it in the marketplace, and you have to use it, and you will be chargeable. You will be charged for that on hourly basis or monthly basis.
Okay.
Okay, the key difference is here you will be choosing the, in a like this one, no, in a infrastructure as a service, no, you will be choosing your operating system like Windows or Linux. Here in software as a service, you will be choosing the product itself. Okay, like that. So these are some examples. It is too theory, I so don't want to go much. So yeah, so yeah, I will take 2 to 3 minutes on the disadvantages and disadvantages. There will be two types of cost. Okay, if as I mentioned, if I'm maintaining, if this is my company, and if I want to maintain this infrastructure or support the servers, no, there will be two types of cost that are involved. One is like capital investments. If I want to have my data center, initially I need some money, right? Like it can be some 5,000 or like $50,000 or $1 lakh, because I have to get this storage. Sorry, I have to get the physical infrastructure. I should have some like some location, like one room or one place, and I should have some servers and all those, no. So that is the initial expense. Other is the running cost. Once I have set up everything, there will be some cost like for giving the salaries and for maintaining the infrastructure like current bill and all those, no, power bill and some maintenance activity, that is the variable cost. So if you set up your data center, no, this in capital expense means the initial investment will be like very huge. Okay, but whenever you go to cloud, no, what will happen, right? There won't be any capital investment, just you will use the service and you will pay for that. So initially you like spending some $1 lakh or $50,000 is not needed. Economics of scale. Now if I want to increase my infrastructure, if I want to, now on a physical infrastructure I'm already having this environment. Okay, one is in India, one is in US. Now I want to put one more center in Australia. It will one more infrastructure in Australia. It will take lot of time to create that infrastructure for months, some months or years. Okay, but when you go to cloud, right, it will be very easy. If you want to create your infrastructure in another region, no, just to select the VM and create it. So like economics of scale means like you can increase the infrastructure, okay, and stop guessing the capacity. So stop guessing the capacity means you no need to bother about like my infrastructure is like full or something. Okay, go global in minutes. So if I want to deploy one application, no, I can select the VM and I can install the software and I can put it live in 1 or 2 days. So what you will do, right, you will stop spending money on the running cost. Okay, means like maintaining the data center and all those, that headache you won't take care. Azure cloud provider will be taking care. The disadvantage is I'm a bit fast here in explaining this one because this is very basic. Okay, so downtime, as this cloud provider is maintaining the infrastructure, so they will be providing one SLA. Okay, this is something important. Okay, each cloud provider will provide some SLA like 99.99% availability. So if you see, if someone tells like 99.999%, right, then they can have 52 minutes throughout the year downtime. If someone says like 99.995, right, they can have 26 minutes. If someone says like 99.999, then it is 5 minutes. Okay, this translates to this one. Okay, per minute you can have downtime like this. Got it? In SLA they will be giving something like, for each service they will be giving this like 99% means 3.6 days. 99.5 means you will be having 1.85 days downtime. It is expected basically. Based on this chart, you will know if someone says like 99.99, it is something like it is expected like 52 minutes throughout the year the server can go down. Okay, and security. So as this is maintained by a cloud, no, if you are having some customer data, so you won't have any control over the database and all those, just you will use it. As the system is present in the cloud, no, it is more vulnerable to attack. Okay, and you won't have any, you will have limited control and flexibility. Means let us assume you are choosing some infrastructure as a service. Okay, now you want some, as what happens, right, basically the upgrades also will be taken care by the cloud provider only. So now I am having one application, okay, which is like went to maintenance. Okay, I can keep that server like it is running on Java 1.8 and some it is on Linux operating system, and I can keep it for next to 10 years also like that. I won't touch it. But whereas if you deploy the same in cloud, what will happen, right? Most frequently what they will do, right, they will do the upgrades even for Java or whatever. So if they do the upgrade, right, then you have to make your application compatible, existing application compatible with that. So means you won't have any control. Whatever they say, like if you are choosing some operating system, if they do the upgrades, you have to go with that. You won't have any control for it. And vendor lock-in, if you are all the infrastructure you have put it in Azure, tomorrow what will happen, right? If they increase the prices, now Netflix is there, okay, they have everything on the, oh, is my voice breaking?
Not really.
Yeah, it's maybe it's from your end. Okay, so vendor lock-in means now I have I had something like Amazon Prime duplicate, I have one OTT, I have kept everything in Azure. Okay, tomorrow my like business is running good, so what Microsoft will say, right? I'm increasing the prices, so I have to go to my and pay whatever he wants. Okay, if he's like financially he's going down, if Azure is having some like a downfall, right, he may increase it, then I have to pay. So if I can't come out of that solution. Okay, and if they increase, first it will be like cheaper only, going forward, right? They will be increasing the cost. That is the business model, no? First they will attract and they will get the customers. When their like stomach is full, no, they will be increasing the prices. So that was the cost concern. Okay, I don't want to go to this one. Yeah, so now as I mentioned here in my previous example, here I have my physical. If you compare the physical data center and the cloud, right? Previously I'm having an ABC company and I'm having my data center in India and US. Whenever I migrated to cloud, I'm selecting some location of the server. Okay, if I'm installing one server, I will make sure like it is in same replica. Means here if it is present in India in on premises, I will choose it in the India region as well as the US. I will put my server in India and US. The same way here, as it is a product, you know what these guys are doing, no, they will be creating that infrastructure globally in all the countries. Okay, what they will do, they will, in India you are having 3, in US you are having some 5 or 6, in UK you are having some, in Australia you are having, in Africa you are having. So what they will do, right, they will create this infrastructure, okay, globally. So their presence would be in the most of the countries. If you see here, okay, one second, I'll tell, not this one, I'll go to this. Yeah, so basically what we'll call, right, a region. Region is nothing but a geographical area. Either it can be India or in US. Whenever you create a VM, no, you will choose your region. Region specifies the geographical location where your data center is present. Okay, if I select India region, means I am creating my VM in the India. If I select South India, then I'm creating my VM here. Okay, now there are some policies, right? The data, if you are setting up a company, it should be, the physical server should be present in that country only. That's why they are putting their presence globally. Okay, region is nothing but a geographical area on a planet. Okay, region is nothing but a geographical area under the planet that contains at least one but multiple data centers. So here I'm having something like West India. This is my region. Okay, one region can have, if only one data center is present, there is some power grid failure. What will happen? Complete data center is lost. That region is, complete region will be having downtime. Correct? So what they will do, right? They will put in one region, in one physical location, they will put one or multiple data centers, more than one data centers, such that if one data center goes down also, the other data center would be able to serve the request from the customers. Okay, that is region. You understood what is region? Region is nothing but a geographical area. Just you remember, like region means geographical area. If I want to create a VM, I should be more specific where I have to create a VM. Then I have to, if I want to create in India, I will select India region. If I want to create in US, I will be selecting the US region. If I want to create a VM in UK, I will be selecting the UK. If it is in Australia, I will be selecting the Australian region. This much you remember. Region is nothing but a geographical area which has multiple data centers. Okay, this is one thing important. Whenever you go here also, see, while creating a VM, why we need this, right? While creating a VM, okay, here it is asking the region. Here you are having like multiple regions. Okay, you have to select whatever the region you need. Next is the availability zone. Okay, availability zone in region, I told, right, it should have multiple data center. Okay, these data centers are nothing but the availability zones. In one region, I'm having data center 1, data center 2, and data center 3. So each data center will be called as an availability zone. Okay, and each is called as an availability zone, and these are connected via high bandwidth low latency connections, backbone connections of the Azure. So only it won't be connected via internet. They will be having dedicated lines. Azure will lay, the cloud provider will lay the dedicated lines between these data centers, such that they will be having like low latency and high bandwidth, such that the request between or the backups or anything between these data centers will be very fast. And availability zone is a physical separate data center within the region. In one region, you will be having like maximum of 3 data centers. Okay, and so they will be having like power. One more thing, right? Each data center won't use the same resource. Means if it is something like a power, they won't get it from the same grid. If this power grid goes down, what will happen? This data center and this data center both will be affected. So they will make sure like they will use the resources independently. Either it can be like power or anything, cooling system, anything. Okay, so such that the impact due to one won't affect the other. Okay, they will be like connected via high speed fiber optic networks. Okay, means the communication between this one will be very fast. I'll go to this one, you'll understand better. One second. This is the Azure Global Network. Okay, just a second, it is loading slowly. They changed this one. Now they should have some other picture basically. Just a second.
We'll see also what we'll learn during the course, the syllabus part of that.
Yeah. It's loading very slow. Okay, meanwhile, right, I will explain. So if you go to here, right, you will be having something like all services. Once you log in via portal.azure.com, okay, here you will be having something like all services. If you click on all services, right, if you will be having like multiple categories. So here you will be having general compute is for, okay, creating the resources like VMs or whatever. Okay, you will be having multiple stuff which will provide the processing power. Okay, this is networking. If I click on all services, no, you will be having n number of services. Okay, there will be like few hundreds. Okay, so it has multiple capabilities. Like if you take the databases, right, it supports these many databases. Okay, if you take off security, you will be having some more. Basically, right, what you will learn, right, it is not possible for everyone to learn all the services. Okay, here you will be having some core services which are essential, which you can work on your projects, like storage. I will show that. I will show 1 second. I'll refer that. 1 second. So basically what we will learn here, no, you will be knowing this, like what is cloud computing basics. Just now we discussed, no, these are all the basics which we discussed today. So if you see what is cloud computing, what are the benefits, service models, okay, limitations, regions, availability zones, and you will be discussing about this like creating a free account, like availability services provided by the uh, Azure. Okay, and in computing you will know like how to create and
Like, after we'll get with the syllabus, right? What we are going to teach.
yes, this is already present here in Durgasoft
Oh.
site. Okay, you can type Azure AZ303. This is basically the architecturing stuff. Okay, you will know this networking, and you will be knowing this storage. Okay, you will be discussing upon this AD. Okay, and you will be discussing about the web apps. This is the platform as a service, and this is the databases. Okay, and you will be discussing about Azure bus, and you will be discussing about Azure traffic manager, content delivery network, CDN, and you will be discussing about this some other stuff. Basically I will tell
How many days it will take to complete?
45 days.
Sorry, 45 days.
So it will prepared for AZ 303 or AZ 900 basic fundamental.
No, this is not that's what I'm going to show. It is not AZ 303. Sorry, it is not AZ 900. It is 308 advanced.
Is there any practice tests will you provide?
Practice test I can give exercises.
Not as a
Normally means like it will be lab only. I didn't get your question properly.
like
It
a
will be like
simulator.
practical 90%. Yeah, you will be create simulators. There is no need of simulators. No, you can create your infrastructure and you can use it. No, what is the need of simulator?
No, certification purpose.
Certification purpose means like Durgasoft you can provide one certificate. Okay.
Okay.
Just a second.
Not from the Microsoft.
Not from them. You can write it, right?
Yeah, that's
You
what
can write and you can
for,
you can write.
before getting the confidence, paying.
Mocks will be available. Okay, mocks we can get it. Okay. So if you see this like certification path, no, you will be having some AZ 900, which will the entry level.
Okay.
Okay, and you will be having multiple streams like developing solutions for Microsoft Azure, This is the Azure administrator, okay, and this is something like security, and we are discussing about this one AZ303 architecture.
After this fundamental 900, it will be covered in this AZ303
No,
also,
this
correct?
fundamentals is like this will be 900 will be covered automatically in this 303.
Okay, so we can prepare for AZ303, correct? After this
Yes,
course.
this will be
Okay.
very easy. If you attend this now, this will be like very easy. AZ900 will be very easy.
Is it like means in between? Can we attend for the AG 900?
Here, no.
We have to
The thing
complete,
is,
then only we have to attend.
it is optional. Okay, here they are mentioning optional. No, this is optional for all the certifications. AZ900 is optional. You can directly take this AZ303. There is no requirement you should take first this one AZ900 and go with 303. You can directly go with AZ303, or like even for any of the certification, AZ900 is an optional. Whatever comes with 900 is optional. You can, if you want to take AZ900, no, if you take this course, it will be very easy for you.
But
It's
on the
basically architect part
website,
we are going to take. Is
One
it?
question at a time, please.
but on the website, like on your Durgasoft website, it says that in doing this course AZ303, the certification it shows that we'll able to clear AZ900 and AZ104 for administration.
Because what I'm trying to do, right? So if you take AD or some, so what is there in cloud? Just I will tell you simple. For any of the things they told AZ900 is prerequisite, means it will provide a basic understanding, correct? This will give you a like prerequisites to understand what is this. AZ900 will make you like give you some exposure. Okay, the difference between AZ104 and AZ303 is 80 to 90% of the course will be same. Okay, if you are working on the cloud, here also you have to create VMs, and here also you will be having the services, here also you will be having the services. If you go to others, right, like data solutions or others, it will be bit different like AI. But if you take 104 or 303, 80 to 90% the syllabus will be same. Now let us assume you are creating some infrastructure. Creating the infrastructure will be present in AZ104 as well as AZ103. As part of AZ104, right, you will be maintaining it. As admin user, you will have more on the monitoring stuff. Got it? But we will take that monitoring, like you will be having some 1 or 2 tabs. Here you will be having some CLI stuff. Here you won't have some CLI stuff. If you take, right, mostly it will give you like, I can't say like this will cover complete 100% of this, but some 80% it will cover. Got it? If it doesn't mean like if you learn this, you will be eligible for only AZ103. If you prepare, you can go for AZ104 as well. That's what I meant. Did I answer your question? Because 72, if you take in AWS also, SysOps administrator and solution architect, 80 to 90% syllabus will be same. You will be having some 4 or 5 extra services which admin uses in AZ104. Even if you compare AZ104, you will be having the same syllabus.
Yeah, got it. Thank you.
So we are taking solution architect path here, correct? More
Yeah,
focused on that.
the thing is like it is a mixture. I will be
And
clubbing this one and this one, something like that.
so this would be a weekend classes only, or weekdays?
Daily 8:30 p.m. Daily 8:30 p.m.
8:30 p.m. daily. Huh? Okay.
Yes, and
8:30
what
PM or AM?
PM.
Okay.
8:30 p.m. is only feasible
Is
for
it
me.
useful for the developers or only for the
So the
administrators?
thing is, one second. So one thing is like, if you are migrating from physical infrastructure to cloud, the thing is you should have basics. So you should know what you are doing. Here you will be sending a mail to admin. Okay, basically what will happen in your on premises, will be sending a mail to admin like, I want to install this server. Okay, you provide me the credentials. He will reply you with some details, then you will be installing your application. If you want to take a backup, you will send a mail, correct? That will
Yes.
normally happen. But when you migrate to cloud, what will happen, right? There will be different services. Okay, there will be different services meant. Some are meant for taking backups, some are meant for storage. There won't be any admin. You have to do that job by yourself. That is the key difference. Got it? So it will give you an, if someone tells you to do take a backup, what you have to do, you will be taking that backup and storing it somewhere. No, that part it will enable. Here, if you want to configure some DNS server, means you have deployed one application, it is having some IP address. Now if you want to host it as an example.com, what you will do, in your on-premises you will send a mail to admin like, this is my IP address and I want to host it as some example.com. okay, to go live, you host it and give me. But in cloud you have to do it by yourself. That is the key difference. The administrative activities also you have to take care. Got it? Spinning the load balancers, you won't do in your on-premises, right? There will be separate team who will be taking care of that load balancers and all those. But here you have to create your load balancers, you have to map your application. Means apart from your development Java or whatever you are working on, apart from that, right, you have to take care of that infrastructure part also when you go to cloud. That is the key difference. By reducing there will be, you will be there will be dependency, there won't be any dependency on the admin for creating the infrastructure in cloud. Got it? Admin will maintain the infrastructure, even though he will be creating the servers and all those, but you can also create your own servers. You can configure your load balancers, you can host, you can give some example.com and host your application and take it live. Yeah, next.
Are you going to cover AG 303 and 304, is it?
No, it is 303 only.
Okay. What about 304? Any
that
thing
will
is
be
like,
like that will be different syllabus itself. That will take another like 303, right? It will be like another 45 days.
Okay. So we are going to cover like 303 only, correct?
303, and I will be covering 104 also.
Okay. The demo environment, like coming to the demo environment, we need to create the trial subscription or like, how it is?
Yes, you have to create your trial subscription. It is valid for 1 year and you will be having some 750 hours. Okay, whenever you create a VM, you have to stop it. I mean, like stop it or delete it once you use it. Okay, for 1 year you won't be charged for some services. Okay, for the first month they will be giving you some 12K or 13K as a credit. Okay, you can use every service. You can utilize that 13K and you can use the every service in Azure.
But some of the services doesn't support in the trial. In that case, how you are going to?
Then you have to like come out of trial version. You have to go with the paper as you go subscription.
Okay.
Because cloud provider also wants money, right? He won't give everything for free. So they will give some services for free and some services paid. So that's why they are tagging in trial services some services. Once the trial subscription finishes, right, you have to go with the pay as you go model where you can use all the services, but you have to pay for that one.
So usually what services would be covered in 303 in this case? Like
minimum would be this one. Okay, minimum would be these services. Practically we will cover this one. Okay, computing, networking, storage, AD. So here I'm not giving a big list. Actually, if it is like Azure Active Directory means the thing is like there will be some integration between the on-premises and this one like cloud AD. Okay, web apps will be covering, DB will be covering, and Azure Bus will be covering, and Traffic Manager will be covering. So these are the bare minimum. Okay, apart from that, right, some services I can't show because it will consume money. I will give some, I won't click finish, but I will show Okay, I won't complete the like operation, but I will give you that. I will give you some like a demo on the tabs. Got it?
Got it. Like here, this Azure Synapses is also mentioned,
Yeah, I
correct?
can't
So
cover
we'll
everything.
touch
Like
upon. Yeah,
if you say this
got
key
it.
vaults, this is for safeguarding your keys. Okay, if I create a key, like if I create something like this, no.
Yeah, understood. At least the fundamental part would be
Yeah,
covered. That's
fundamental
the
part I will be doing. So it is basically for storing your keys. In your on premises, that will be maintained. Some people will be there, some team will be there, they will be maintaining that, right? Here in cloud, they will be protecting your keys, that key rollover in the production systems. Okay, the retention value is like 90, like that I will explain, but I can't create because this is a paid service. Okay,
got it.
something like that. That is based on the like at that is based on the like people interest. Like some people will be in develop, because this is a mixture of people. Some people will be from development, some people will be from admin, some people will be from QA. Okay, and some people will be from freshers, no. Based on that like people, right, I will decide the services,
Yeah.
people interest, based on
So
the people
we'll touch
interest.
also about the integration with the external systems, either through API or things like that.
No,
Like
that won't be much, that won't be much. Like integrations is like that is like advanced in integration, in the sense like what CLI I will take care, but SDK I won't take care.
integration means like external system, like you have SAP, you have PI historian
No,
and
no,
all this.
that is like you need separate setup for that, right? You understood? Like AD to AD I can take, Azure AD to Active Directory I can take care, means that is in our hands. But if I want to install it like make it compatible with an existing like SAP or some other thing, no, like it is
Yes, we can cover this connectors part of that, correct? The APIs part of
not
that.
much.
That will be.
No, no, that won't be there. This AZ303 will make you to, it won't make you specialization in one thing. Okay, if you learn this AZ303, you can do your administrative and you can work on cloud. So if you take like security, as you mentioned, connector or Snowflake, so there are like multiple connectors and all those, no. So I can't take one specialization on it. It will
Got it.
make you compatible, or like it will give you some knowledge to work on the cloud. Because if I tell you, if you take databases, right, many people will have different there are some 10, more than 10 databases. So what
Mm.
your expectation is, like you want something on one, which is not possible, because I can't cover each database. I can cover some one or two databases. Got it? As it is a
Mm.
product, it will have some 100 features, but the concept would be same. Got it?
Yeah, got it. Got it. Got it. Yeah. Okay.
So tomorrow 8:30 p.m. we will be having demo.
Sorry, a small doubt about any
Yeah.
project or live
Project
scenario.
in the sense I can give. So at the end of the session, right, I can give you one lab. You can practice it,
Okay. Okay.
or 1 week once or something I can create, so that you will get some confidence. Like you will be creating VMs, and that I will ask you to install some application servers, some DB servers,
Okay.
something like that. Whatever
Okay.
you do in on premises, I
Live
will give you
scenario.
some. Yeah.
If any company wants to do that one. So live scenarios, can you able to explain?
So simple. There is nothing like live and all those. Basically, it is not like
Okay.
your what to say in code like Java or somewhere where you have to have sample application. If you are a developer, you will be doing your work. Okay, in simple I'm saying you will be doing your coding and all those.
Yes.
This is a new platform which will enable you to code here.
Okay.
Instead of running on your infrastructure given by admin, your role remains same, but you will be, the shift is, one top up is, you will be creating the infrastructure. After I asked you to create one Tomcat server. In on-premises, your admin will give you some server. On top of it, you will install Java and install Tomcat. Here, it
Yes.
will enable you to create a VM. After that, your work will remain same. Okay, you don't think like cloud is something like extraordinary or a different stream. Cloud is something like same what you did, but you have to do it by yourself.
There is no documentation, nothing.
No, documentation will be there.
Okay.
I'm telling like your role won't change.
Okay.
Now you are having like now you are in the pandemic, right? Now everyone is working from home. Previously you used to work from your desktop, physical desktop, correct?
Yes.
Now you are
Yes.
using VM. You are logging into VM and doing your work. Is there any shift or something change in your job profile?
Nothing. But what I'm asking in the when you are doing this Azure migration, there may be some protocols internally we have to follow because it's a paid one. Any company it has to. If everyone creating one server, then it's a different. No?
No, that's what, right? Here it is a zero trust network. Zero trust means it won't enable everything. Okay, whatever is needed in case of ports or firewalls, you have to open. It doesn't mean like if I'm creating a VM, it is insecure. Okay, you will get only bare minimum, and there will be some things. If you are installing some MySQL, if you want to install some MySQL on a Linux box, you
Okay.
can't directly install OS, and on in that you can't install. If you install this MySQL, it will be visible for everyone. Okay, there will be something like you have to open ports whatever are required. So that I will take care. That I will guide you like what is necessary.
Okay.
If you are installing like basically, right, it is a zero trust network. Zero trust network means if you create something in cloud, infrastructure will be present, but it won't provide any access. It won't have any ports open, nothing.
Okay.
So, and one more thing. Now what I will do, now I am having something like India region as well as the US region. Okay, and there will be some here I may have one ODC in the same company. Here you will be having some ODC and you will be having different ODC. ODC1, ODC2, ODC3. Here also I will be having same ODC1, ODC2, ODC3. Whether these two things communicate in on-premises? I'm asking you a question, how these are getting separated? In your physical infrastructure, you will be having one ODC1, ODC2, ODC3, and these
We need
two.
to disable the port.
Huh?
We need to disable the firewall port to like segregate the ODC.
Yeah, so means it is not something like just creating the VM. It is something like networks also. You understood? Here I'm having one physical server, some Tomcat server or DB server. It is an insurance project. It is something like a banking project. These two, even though this is hosted in the same data centers, both can't communicate, no? Yes or no? Like that, if I'm having my
Yes.
region
Because of
here, if I create my multiple networks also, both in cloud also, I have to do this. Whatever I have done here, I have to replicate and do the same in cloud. That is the work.
Okay.
Okay, this is the ODC1, in that I'm having DB. This is ODC2, this is having some DB server. Okay, like let us assume like this is Amazon. Okay, Amazon Prime, this is Netflix. Services are same. Okay, but they can't, as it is individual project, no, in on-premises they can't communicate.
Sure.
In cloud also I have to say create the same infrastructure such that both can't talk to each other. Got it? You will be having different subnets here, you will be having different subnets here. Some will be public IPs. Okay, the application server would be in public network, your DB server will be in the private network. Like that you will be creating the infrastructure. Got it? The designing the infrastructure also will be covered. So once you complete the course, right, then you will be knowing like, okay, for my application, if I'm creating an application, that doesn't mean I just create and give you one VM. There would be some layout, some how you did, how the security stuff is handled. You will be having one VM. In that VM, you will be having, sorry, you will be having one data center. In that you will be having multiple VLANs. You know what is VLAN? No, VLAN will isolate the network. Okay, so if you go to VLAN, I will show you. So here you see, if you understand this one, no, if you see this picture, this is a VLAN example. In on-premises, for Office 1 you will be having separate VLAN, Office 2 you will be having separate VLAN, you will be Office 3 you will be having some VLAN. In that you will be having multiple networks. Like that, how you can achieve the same in cloud, we will learn. Okay, got it? Yeah, that's it from for today. Tomorrow 8:30 p.m. we have demo session. Okay, and like we will be having 2 demo sessions. After that, regular class will start from Wednesday. Okay, once you complete this course, right, you will be like comfortable in working on Azure. And bare minimum I can guarantee is like you can create this clear this certification. AZ900 is bare minimum. Okay, so but you will be having knowledge on 303 as well as 104. But the thing is like you have to prepare, as this is a theory oriented exam. Now our classes will be of labs, 70-90%, 80 to 90% labs and 10% theory. Okay, so you have to read something, but this is guaranteed. AZ900 you can easily pass. For this you have to prepare a bit.
Like any class after this, like you are planning for AZ304?
No, currently not.
So okay.
If you want, I
So
can
you,
give that material. I had that material, I can give you.
but no plan for class, is it?
No.
Right?
First I will concentrate, because like this class will take around 45
For
minutes.
Bikram,
Not
like
now.
what I'm saying. What I'm
Not
saying. The classes will be there for the current part you will already plan for 45 days. My question is, do you
No,
also
currently
run the
not.
class for?
Currently
Okay.
not.
Okay. Can I get that URL, that Durga Software URL where you have opened for
Okay,
syllabus one?
this will have only bare minimum. Okay, whatever I'm covering, you will be having bare minimum.
Vikram. Okay, okay.
And for certifications, I will be giving this path as well. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
So,
it.
sir, currently you are working on Azure itself,
Yes,
directly or
yes.
other platforms also?
So the thing is like I'm working on AWS, Azure, and PNF. There are like multiple clouds.
Vikram, one small request. You plan for AZ 304 also. After this 303, like I will arrange some of the guys.
Yeah.
Myself also. You plan for now. Anyway, it will take another 45 days, 2 months. So once this is over, we'll plan.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
One second. Let me stop the screen share. Sorry, stop the recording. One second, guys. Are you able to see my screen?
That screen is showing like WhatsApp screen.
Yeah, you're not sharing your screen now.
So yeah, if you want material, no, I can share for AZ304. Okay, and AZ500. I attended this trainings Microsoft, but I don't have for AZ303. Okay, I can share that material. If you want 304, I have the syllabus. I can share it. The material I can
No
share.
problem. No problem. Let we finish this, then we'll plan.
Yeah, I will plan
No problem.
because yeah, fine. Any other doubts?
Okay. The course fees and all other thing, who is going to
You-
contact us?
The Durga Soft.
Okay. The classes will be every day 8:30 to 9:30, or it might extend.
No. 8:30 to 9:30, but 5-10 minutes. And sometimes I will take on weekend as well, because there will be some labs which will take some 3 or 4 hours. I don't want to, like, if it is an AD integration, we have to set up some lab like on premises, and we have to set up one what to say, cloud AD, and we have to integrate. No, those kind of labs will be taking lot of time. So what I will do, right? It will take a week if I do it day by day. So I will plan it on weekend. Like, we will spend some 2-3 hours and we will finish the topic.
Okay. All the classes will be recorded, right?
Everything
You'll
will be
get it.
recorded. Even if you miss, also not an issue. You will get the recording.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So, one more question. If the WhatsApp number that is given on the Durgasoft website is working, because I tried messaging them, but I did not get any response.
Same for
Okay.
me.
Okay.
Same for me. Bikram, any idea how much they will charge this Azure? Because I tried to contact, no one responded me.
Okay. 1 second. Okay, you can send a mail to this one. Okay, I will call if you have any queries. No, you can send this to this one. I'll follow up with them. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. If you want.
Vikram,
Yeah, you can mail me. I will reply. Yeah.
just a fundamental question actually. If you can give your insights, I just want to understand. See, well, fundamentally, both Azure and AWS would be similar. So, what factors should we consider? Which course we shall take? Either
That's what I
AWS
was
or
telling.
Azure?
No, the thing is, like, Azure is somewhat newer when compared with AWS. AWS is present in the market since decade, more than decade, since 2005, 2003, 2005. AWS is there, right? When I started initially at AWS in 2006, I believe, you don't have these many services. So if you are having, can you go on mute, please? I'm having a lot of. Yeah. So the core concept will be same. Okay. If you are creating one VM, or if you are using some DB services, or if you are hosting anything, storage or everything, concept will be same, but the UI will change. Okay. In Azure, if you compare this AWS and Azure, no, what I felt is like Azure is bit having advanced. It is having it is bit advanced when compared with AWS. So when I learned AWS, right, I thought, okay, it is very complicated. But when I had this one, the exposure to Azure, then I realized, like, okay, here you are having some add-ons. Platform as a service, right? It will provide infrastructure plus some additional features. No, you won't have these many navigations. Just a second, I will show you to demonstrate. Mm, yes. Just a second. If you have any doubt in AWS, also I can handle. Okay.
Okay.
ಯಾರು ಬಂದ್ರಂತ ಹೇಳ್ರಿ
One second.
ಯಾರು ಬಂದಿಲ್ರಿನೆ? ಹಾ
Can you go on mute, please?
ಹಾ
Okay, just I'm sharing my screen. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, yes.
So here you are having, if you see, click these services, no, you are having these many services. In AWS also, if you see, you will be having services like this. If you take EC2 equivalent service in AWS is EC2 for this VMs here. The core concept remains same. In infrastructure as a service, right, there won't be much difference. I'm creating a VM, just I will show the UI. Okay, here in AWS also you are having some marketplace. Just now I showed you, right, marketplace. Here also we'll have the same thing. In SaaS, if you launch, click on launch instances. Here you are selecting the VMs. Okay, selecting some Amazon Linux. Here I will be selecting some hardware. In Azure also, the UI may change. Okay, there will be something like subscription and resource group, which won't be present in AWS. Okay, so but the core concepts, right, the region, the infrastructure, availability zone you will call. So if you see, right, you will be having something like availability zone. I will discuss this one. Okay. Here you will be having something like regions. Okay, here you will be having subnet, you will call it as availability zones. So these are the availability zones. But in Azure, apart from availability zones, you will be having something like virtual machine scale sets, availability sets. So additional you will be having. That's what I told. When I learned AWS, when I was working on AWS, I had only some options. But when I go to Azure, the shift is I came to know some additional concepts which are not present in AWS. Got it. Here I am selecting region, and here there will be something like availability zones only. Subnet is nothing but availability zone. Here we have to put your network somewhere.
But the
But the
weightage,
key
weightage of yeah. Go ahead, sorry.
So you will be having some additional features like availability set and this virtual machine scale sets, which is not present in AWS. Got it. But here you will be selecting the VM. Here also you will be selecting the VM. Everything remains same. In my previous, no, the UI may change basically. Here I am selecting some VM. Here also I will select the VM. Okay. Here I will be having both SSH as well as the password. In AWS, I will be having only SSH based key certificate authentication. Here I will be having password based also. So the core concepts will same. Here you will be having disk networking management and other stuff. So here also you will be having the same, like storage, the security groups, the instances. Concepts are same, but you will be having some bit advanced in the Azure. Okay. If you know this one, you can correlate to AWS, but here you will be you won't have these many options that are present in Azure.
Okay.
Got it.
Yeah, got it. So and weightage by AWS associate or AZ303 is similar, more or
The
less.
thing is, now the shift is changed. Okay, so now the people are not using only one cloud. Okay, for one solution, they are not segregate. They're what they are doing, right? They're segregating the solution. They don't want their solution to be in only with one customer. Okay, one cloud provider. So they are using some services from here. Okay, for some applications. For some applications, they are using this one.
So it's a combination they are using actually.
It's a combination they are using. They are not going to vendor lock-in mode. Got it. So it depends. Like if you are having some huge project, complex, right? I'm having some 4 clouds. Hybrid. I'm working on 3, 4. Okay. I worked on this OpenStack as well before. Like I was working in this virtualization technology from 2011, 2010, when this migration started. No, from like hardware to virtualization means that we used to have some Zen and Zen hypervisor. Have you heard about this one, like VMware and Zen?
VMware I've heard about. I'm aware of it. Yeah.
Like Citrix product is Zen.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
VMware, they will be having some Zen server. Okay,
Mhm.
so I was part, so I know like that is on the virtualization I worked. Later I moved to cloud. Okay,
Oh. Mhm.
so the core is different, same here. The thing is like everywhere you will be having same. If you learn one cloud, right, like you can learn the cloud by yourself. You don't need to attend. But only thing is the lab will differ. Here in
Okay.
AWS you will be setting some course, no, that will have different intention. In Azure you will be having some different intention. That's it.
Okay.
Here you are having some availability sets and scale sets, right, that you won't have in Azure. That's what I told. This is bit advanced.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Thanks. Thanks, Vikram. Thanks for that. Yeah.
But if you are going for platform as a service, people will go for this one. Here you will be having infrastructure
In
as a
our
service.
company, it's more on SaaS. So we are selling SaaS solutions,
Yeah,
irrespective of whatever the cloud provider
cloud
it is.
provider. That's what I told. SaaS is like you will build application and you will just host it in cloud, and the customers will consume and they will pay for you. Correct? Huh?
Correct. Correct.
So I worked in
Correct.
like
So,
previously I worked on that models. So the thing is, if you tell me like if you compare infrastructure as a service, AWS is better. Platform as a service, this is better, right? Infrastructure means you will be getting hardware and OS, no, that is same everywhere. Got it?
got it. Yeah.
So here you won't have much, but in Azure, right, you are having some extra labs, boss. Seriously, that is true. Here you are having some extra stuff.
Hmm. Got it. Got it. Yeah.
Yeah. Any other doors? Else we'll wind up the session.
Yeah. Thanks. That's all from my side. Yeah.
How was the session? Good, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. It's good, informative. Yeah. Thanks.
Like, bit interesting. Let's meet on the 8:30.
Yeah.
Regular
Yeah.
batch.
The only thing is like today the lab I can't concentrate. Either I can cover theory or something because I can't create both. The what I filter, right?
No problem, no problem. We know the difficulties. So, okay. If any prerequisite is required from our end, is just let us know. We plan
Now
to
that
that.
is days are gone. Those days are gone where there is some prerequisite, no? If you take some any
No,
course which is coming now,
prerequisite in this session, what I'm saying, like, registering some
that we will take
trial
care. That
account
we
or
will take care.
something, all the things.
So don't worry, yeah. Prerequisites I will take care. Even like Linux basis also, I had one thing. I had one. Some people may be new to Linux because if you go to infrastructure as a service, it is mandatory to know Linux. Okay, it doesn't mean like if I know this UI and I can work on cloud. That is not correct because when you are doing some infrastructure, if you are building one application, in Windows means you can do the configuration, but if you are 95% of the servers are Linux, correct or not? 95.
Correct.
So you
Correct,
should know
agree.
how to play with Linux also. Means you have to install. You should have some knowledge on Linux. Else, I will be taking. I had some what to say.
Vikram, we lost your voice. Huh?
No, no, yeah, my mic, right? It got okay. So yeah, I'll be covering this comments also. So even for a layman, right, who don't know Linux, no need to worry. I will take one class, but it won't be like a outside separate course where we'll be executing 10 commands a day, but it will be like 1.5 hour session where I will cover most of the stuff. Okay, but this document will give you it is like a cheat sheet. I will share this document in the classrooms. Okay, like how to play with. This will enable you to work comfortably. Okay, it is I'm not assuring like it will give an immense knowledge, but it will help you to work on Linux in your projects. Okay, like how to file permissions and how to log into other servers. Okay, how to grep basic. I will be taking 1.5 hour session, like zipping the files and networking a bit, installation a bit. Okay, so I will take care. Got it? You don't worry, like if you don't know Linux, everyone knows Linux, right? Or
No, my background is
Kind of.
different actually.
so I will take care, like just to practice 10 commands a day, 5 commands a day over a period of time. Like within 10 days you will learn 50 commands. That is simple. You don't think like it is having some huge examples, sorry, huge commands. To practice within 10 days you will learn 20 commands. It is very simple, because for cloud, if you are working, you should know Linux. Got it? You don't assume
Okay.
like you will be having only Windows servers. In cloud you may work on Linux also. That is a fact.
Okay. Vikram, the mail ID you given that bounce back, huh?
I didn't
Vivo,
get you. Vibu.training.
that bounce back.
1 second. No. Oh really?
Oh, Gmail, huh? You mentioned GMA. Okay.
Okay. I will copy paste.
Got it.
I'm doing.
No problem.
Okay.
No, it
Okay,
worked.
Gmail. You can drop a mail.
Yeah, it worked for
Instead of Gmail, you
No,
mentioned I
Gmail.
is removed. Huh?
I typo was there. Okay.
No worries.
Okay, so you will. The thing is like I won't take any theory. It means like I won't dictate notes or something. Okay, I will give some notes. Okay, like I won't type and waste the time. You will utilize the time in that doubts clarification and all those. Like I'm not interested in like taking a notepad and typing what is SAS and all those. No, maybe I won't be able. Yeah, study material I will be giving reference material, but PPTs I can't share. Okay, I will copy that to some stuff and I can share you. Okay, I
No
had
problem.
some.
It will be better if you focus more on practical rather than theory.
Yeah. So theory won't.
Theory definitely we want for like
Concept
ground
wise I
kind of
will
thing.
discuss.
No.
Concept wise I will discuss, but like exhaustive typing and preparing the notes like normal regular thing, right, where you will type the definition and all those, that won't be provided. Just I will give you the concept and some material. Certifications, yeah, certification like exhaustive here. Satyanarayana asked like for certification, this will give you, because certification you have to go with the reference documents. Got it? Study material I will be giving whatever I have, but certification no, you have to depend on any certification, right? You have to depend upon the reference documents. Unfortunately I don't have that certification material for the Azure. I had for AWS. Yeah, if I have I will give you, but I can share you that reference documents from Microsoft, whatever I have. Okay, thanks. If there are no doubts, right, I can wind up the session.
Okay, thank you.
It will be interesting. Yeah. If you want the comparison, I can give you like how you do in AWS and all those. Okay,
That will be helpful actually.
yeah, but it is like more like you are here in Azure, right? You are having some extra that AD and all those won't be part of that AWS course at all. There will be something like a multi-factor authentication groups. You will end up there only, but here you will be having Azure Active Directory. They won't touch that one in AWS. That's why I told. Here you are having some more control.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. Okay.
Because no one is like a master in any technology.
Yeah,
No
yeah.
one is master. Okay.
True.
If you ask questions, that is good for me. Even it will expose me, because everyone will think in different manner. No,
True.
that will
Yeah, yeah.
really help. I will get the answers. Okay,
Yeah,
guys. Yeah. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you very much. Yeah. See you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.